Today we're going to look at how to use the Bedarail Steel Van Jig and the black hat etchings. These etchings are good for the steel end cupola caboose, the bay window caboose, the steel center, the steel streamlined caboose. Okay, they all use the same etching on the end. Okay, so we'll put that aside for now. And we're going to look at the jig. So on the jig we got three distinct areas. On the left hand side is the ladder jig. And on the bottom, it's hard to tell because my camera is horrible. We've got two holes we're going to drill out with a 79 bit. You can use an 80, you can use a 78, 77, it's up to you. On the curved section, this matches the curves of the corner grabs on the caboose body. And there are 2 dimples we need to drill out again. Also on the end here, so it's really hard to see, there are 2 dimples. What these are for is on the ends by the ladder and the splash guard, there's a handrail. So what you do, you drill this as deep as you can, and then you take a piece of wire and you bend it in a 90 degree, shove it in the hole, bring it across, and you bend it around the jig, and that'll get you in the ballpark for the end handrail that you need for the splash guard and the ladder. So we're going to start by drilling out some holes. I'll try to do this best I can on camera. I'm terrible at this stuff. Okay, so I'm moving it around trying to find the light so I can find the hole. There's one of the holes. One. There's 2. So you can feel with when the bit kind of finds a hole, that's where you want to drill. 3. And where's the 4th one? There it is, the 4th one. I'm losing my bit here. There we go. So those are the important ones. I'm looking around for my brush. I'm just going to get rid of some of this dust. Now we'll drill out these bottom ones. My drill is off center here. Let me fix that. There we go. You really only need to drill out one of these. Go a little ways, come back out. A little ways, come back out. I came out the bottom, so let's try the other side. Yeah. Okay, that'll do. And I just lost my drill bit. Luckily, I have more. I could buy these by the 10s or the dozen, I forget which. They're about $1 a piece. That drill was quite used. If you're wondering, I've got a Dremel with a, what do you call this, a flexible lead, hooked up to a foot pedal. So I'm just trying to get this. Okay, we're back in business. All right. So we got everything drilled out. So why don't I'll show you quickly. Focus. Come on. Stupid thing. So I'll show you how to make a curved grab and then the end handrail. So I'll grab a piece of PV wire. Got a piece of PV wire. Cut off the length. And I got a hand drill here. I'm going to use this to make the bend. Let's see how I did. So you just kind of compare it to what's there, and I'm way off. Just straighten it out a little bit. Just working it with my fingers. A little bit more. All right. So I'm going to take one end of it, put a 90 degree bend into it. Feed it through one of the holes. And I use my eye and figure out where I need to make the next bend so it fits in the second hole. Use my technique of tongue out of the mouth, one eye squint, and then in the hole, come on, get in there. It's supposed to be easy. So corner grab is close enough for me. Conversely, you can do this directly on the body. That works too. Corner grab. Okay. So the end handrail for the end platform here. So I made another 90-degree bend. Stick it in the hole. Bend it around the corner. That's it. Pull it back out if you can. Pull it back out. Make it 90 degrees. Give it a little trim. There you go. So the bottom part, this will go into the end sill, and the top part will go on the splash guard or through the ladder rungs. Okay, put that off to the side. And take a quick moment to look at the end sill itself. So there are some holes of note. It's hard to see if I can get that right there. Okay. On each end there are 3 holes. 1, 2, 3. So this last hole, which is close to the edge, that's for the end handrail. And then on this side of the sill, we got the same thing. 1, 2, 3. These 2 holes are for a grab you've got to form. These 2 holes on this side, that's for the ladder, and that matches the jig. You've got a hole right here, which is for the drill a hole there. That's for the uncoupling lever, and on the Ajax brake housing, there's a hole right here, which matches the hole on the underside. Come on, focus. That's not going to focus. And you drill that out. Okay, moving on. The etching. This is what we come to see. So hopefully this focuses. This is no fun if it doesn't focus. Come on, use my hand. Black hat, okay. So we've got splash guard. This is the roof support. We got a ladder, which also acts as a roof support. And you've got eye bolts, lift rings for the cupola and whatnot. So one thing of note, one thing you want to check is right here on this roof support is a hole. You want to make sure that's formed all the way through. So I'm going to take my 79 drill bit and run it through there. And run it through the other side, which is right there. Also on the bottom of the ladders, you've got 1, 2 holes. You just want to make sure they're opened up. So I'm going to do that right now. Try to do it in focus, which is not going to happen. Because the etching process is not an exact science. It gets you really close. Okay, one. And these two. And then these. And then this one. All right. Very good. Sorry about all the noise, guys. I think my furnace is starting to go off. Okay. So what I want to do now, I'm going to do the most difficult part of the jig, which is you need the big splash guard. As you're looking at the end, this is the one on the right, and you want the roof support. Okay. So you can use whatever method you want to remove these off the sprue. You can use etching nippers. I'm going to try to use an X-Acto with a 1, 2, 3 block and see if I can't just take them off here. That's one. Two. And cut it off right up here. Come on, there we are. Splash guard. Take off the ladder. One, two. Now these two eyelets, we're going to have to take care of those. We don't want to destroy those as we're taking this off. Come on. Did that come? It did. And up here, so the problem with doing this on camera is I don't get to wear my optivisor. I guess I got to do this with my bad eyes. So I'm making mistakes. Please forgive me. These 1, 2, 3 blocks I got off of Amazon in a set of 2. They're just exactly 1 inch by 2 inches by 3 inches, and they're solid steel. Okay, that's off. Okay, that's off. Okay, ladder. Ladder is off. And let's take off. Now the other side splash guard is really its own thing. It's not involved in any sort of jig activity. So we'll leave him on there for now. There are 2 holes. Yeah, you drill 2 holes in the top of the sill that match this distance, and then you stick it in. That's all it does. So let's, come on. Which way is, yeah, this is the, it's at the bottom. I believe that side's the bottom. Hold on. I got one done here. Okay. Wish I had my optimizer on. So this leg I want to trim right, come on, right at the bottom of the, struggling. I bent it. Shit. That one's off. Okay, it's off. Good. So we got our pieces. Now this one, there's a little bit of a nub on the end. So I'm going to take this off camera right now. I'm just going to file it down just a hair. I'm going to get rid of that nub. Okay. Nub removal successful. On this piece, there is a little bit of extra material here. I want to remove. I'll file that off. Just using a nail file. And then these, come on, focus. Focus. Put this back. It's not focusing. It's frustrating. Focus on that. Please. This is useless if it doesn't focus. How about this? There we go. There's back. Okay. So on the splash guard, these legs are a hair long, so I would trim them to about, take about a third off the bottom. And for that, I'm going to use my my shears. Just take a little bit, just like that. Okay, good. Now we're going to prep this piece. Now this guy here goes in front of this guy here. Okay, so we have to, what I'm going to do is solder these together in the jig. So I'm going to apply some solder, a little bit of solder. So I'm going to apply flux, a little bit, just a tiny bit of solder to the back. I'm going to put flux on this section here. Okay, I'm using the nasty paste flux. This stuff. This is gross. Don't need much, just enough to, wherever the flux goes, the solder will follow. And I'm going to put flux. Good, that's it. I'm going to set up my steel block again. And we're going to apply solder first. You've lost the focus. There we go. Apply solder first to this. So I got a little bit, I got my soldering iron. I use a Hako, a cheap Hako by the way. I just put a little bit of solder on the end. I'm going to hold down this. Get this over a hole. There we go. There. Pretty sure that's perfect. Right. And if it warps on you like it did for me, you just kind of let it cool down, it'll go back in place. All right. Jig. You lost focus again. Focus on this. Hey, hello. Okay, focus. So we're going to introduce the roof support first. Like that. And then okay, and we're going to apply heat right there. So what you could do is add a bit of flux there for the moment. You clean it off in a sec. And then when you apply heat, push down. That should flow the solder onto the flux that is on the roof support. Should. Make sure this is lined up though. There, like that. Solder and flux. I'm going to do is put the hair, maybe flux. Maybe just put flux on my iron here. Okay. If I did it right, I'll look like a genius. And if I didn't, I won't. That's the back side. So this is on there really well, I think. Yeah. So if you wanted to now, you could come and you can file that off. This is on the back side. So that is how you assemble the splash guard and the upright. And now what you can do is that piece of wire we bent before, over here, this piece here, we're going to shove it in to that hole that Black Hat so lovingly supplied to us, and you can see how this works. So rather than put flux, like put a solder joint here, you want this to be about 1 millimeter away, by the way. As long as they're even, it's fine. But we're going to make a bend right here, a 90-degree bend coming down. Take my pliers, find exactly where it is, bend it 90 degrees straight down. There we go. We're back. It's a little bit fussy. It's a little bit fussy. Bring it to the far side like this of that etching. I'm going to trim a little bit off. I'm going to apply flux to that area. Paste flux is the way to go when it comes to building models. It just helps things stay in place while you're soldering. The liquid flux kind of does what it wants. All right. Come on. There we go. Okay. There. You see how that wants to stay right there? Soldering iron. A little bit of solder. And then touch it to that joint. Ah, too much. If you get too much, I just clean my tip off. I got a was it a copper? This one's nasty, but clean off the tip. Come on. Maybe if I keep that there, maybe that'll help. Focus. Hello. You got too much on there, so I'm going to put some paste flux on my tip and then come back to the joint. Just remove some off, rinse, repeat. Just trying to make that handrail nice and even on the top. working the flux off here. Of course, he'd come in afterwards with a file or something. I never said I was a good solderer, just and not good enough for what I need. There we go. Ah, don't. It's moved on me. There it is. Okay. So that's ready to go on the model. Okay. What you would do now is when you apply this to the model, you will obviously bend that in, and then you'll make another bend going straight into the model here, about this, just a hair over here on this line here. So, and that'll go into the model. So that's one side done. Okay. The ladder is not as hard, I guarantee it. So the trick with the ladder is you take your 12-5 wire again, and you cut 2 small pieces off. 1, 2, and you take them, and those 2 holes we drilled out in the beginning, put them in the holes, just like this. But you can't see what I'm doing. Neither can I, because I'm not wearing my optivisor. There we go. Okay. So you got 2 pieces of wire in the jig. Hope you can see that. And here is the ladder piece. I'm going to take a second and I'm going to just take a quick file and get rid of those little nubbies on the top of the ladder. Just a file, take your time. Unless of course you're making a video, in which case people are impatient. I could do better, but. So we're going to take the 2 holes in the bottom of the ladder. We're going to insert the wires into the holes, and drop the ladder into place, just like this. While we're holding the ladder down, we're going to apply flux here and here. Grab the soldering iron. I lost wire. I don't know where it went. The pains of being a model railroader. Replacing Z wire. There we go. Okay. I have to make sure there's flux on that piece of wire. So you want this joint to be in quickly. Okay. Okay, got my soldering iron. Give it a solder. Hold down the ladder. Touch the joint. Touch the joint. One joint's good, one is not. Okay. Now, oh, do I have the ladder the wrong way? Oh crap, I've got the ladder the wrong way. So we're going to learn how to fix a mistake. Pull the ladder out. Huh, you don't have to fix that, just turn it around. Well, that's ready to go. So the next step, focus please. If anyone recommend a better camera for this, let me know. Trim off the excess. And give yourself about, for now, give yourself about 3 mil or so. You need to get this back into the jig. Usually it wouldn't come out of the jig yet, but because I made a mistake, it had to come out. Okay, back on the jig. We got one ladder rung, the one top of the ladder being a poopy. So now here's the hard part. There's a radius on the top. You're just going to take your finger and roll it over. And this is going to get you in the ballpark for the top radius of the ladder. Right? So, next step is to remove it from the jig. Knife comes out. We got two supports on the bottom. All right, so now we have to make another end handrail piece. So we'll do what we did before, is we'll take a piece of 12.5 PB wire, bend over one end, stick it in the hole on the bottom, bend it around the bottom edge, pull it out of the jig, finish the bend to be 90 degrees. This. All right. I'm going to grab, I wish I had my optimizer on right now. I'm going to grab the ladder frame. I'm going to use my finger to bend up the handrail support. Go to the other side. I need a better camera, guys. This is awful. Bend up. That. See it. And if you're following along, you know what the next step is. It's going to be inserting this wire into the holes. And you can let this bottom piece here, the hole for the end handrail on the if I can get that to focus, it's a hair higher than the two supports for the ladder that we made with the jig. So if you thread it on the top side, you're good to go. So we're going to push this in, push it in until it approximately matches the other side. And the other side is right here. That's going to be our pair. This is pretty close. Then we're going to take some flux on here, flux on here. Double check to make sure the handrail is where we want it. Also look this way, make sure it's focus. Let's just solder it. So we got the joints. You can always adjust things after, quite easy to do. We're just going to touch the solder to the joint. Now for this grab, refer to your prototype photos. Some of them, for example, on this end splash guard, so you're looking at the end of the caboose here. This splash guard, some of them have this grab iron going all the way across. Sometimes it goes down and then across. It depends on the ladder, where it was serviced, yada, 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 CPR, what the hell, right? It couldn't be consistent. So, but in my case, as delivered, I'm just going to cut it off here, flush. We got 1, 2. So you're going to have to repeat this for the other end of your caboose. But I guarantee you, this is the hardest part of the build. This is it. The only other soldering involved is when you make the corner grabs, because I'm gonna grab a caboose here. Raise this up just a hair. Okay, you can't see nothing. Okay, so there's the corner grab, is hole here, and then there's the corner support. So let me just show you the corner support. So what you're going to do, just drilled out the corner support. You're going to take some of that wire. It is right here. I go through a lot of this wire. I don't know about you guys. And take a bit of the wire. We're going to make a 90-degree bend, just like this. Okay. Now, why don't I show you the whole thing? Let me drill out the rest of the corner grabs, and that way it's done. Drill not that way, but more towards the inside of the model. It's really close to the edge. Oh, I blew my etchings away. Don't do that. So one on the end and one on the bottom. You can find it with your drill bit. Like that. Okay. Okay. So this works. I'm just going to trim the legs off of this corner grab. Okay. So what you do is make the corner grab on the model. You actually solder on the model. There's no problem. Is you put this guy in the hole like this. Okay. No, you can focus. Come on. I believe in you, camera. It's not going to do it, is it? Aha. Da. Take my curved grab iron we made before. Stick in the hole. Stick the other end in the hole. Get in there. Push it all the way in. All the way in. Now adjust this corner support until it's about 45 degrees. Hold down the corner support. Add flux to the joint. And then touch. Make sure you get the corner support too. Give it a, say good, it's good. Then you pull it out. And trim it. Trim it best you can. So that's your corner grab. And for the model, because you got flux on there now, I take some isopropyl alcohol sprayed on there. I just take a toothbrush. Make sure it's a soft toothbrush. A hard one might actually hurt the resin. And you insert the corner grab. Again, I'm doing this without my optivisor. Come on, this stupid camera sucks. And then you would secure it on the inside with some CA. And that's the corner grab. On the modernized cupolas, the steel end cupolas, on the far end, it would be the other side of this actually, where there's a generator, the hole for the support is near the corner. That's because so you could actually have the generator in that area. All right, so that's it. So that's how we make the end ladder. Let's bring this back in so maybe it'll focus for me. Here, please, thanks. That end ladder and that splash guard. Okay. When it comes to the roof and how this interacts with the roof, this is a roof from a bay window. If you're doing a model, like a prototype that doesn't have the curved part of the ladder, it goes to the roof and stops, right? There are two holes on the edge of the roof that you drill out, insert two pieces of the wire, and then solder the roof onto the pieces of wire, and then that'll secure the ladder to the roof. But if you're using the roof walk, then these two curves, come on, focus. This is so frustrating. Got to get this video out. I need to make it so people know what to do. Up a bit, I guess. Is it focusing now? No. The curved part of the ladder will actually go into the roof walk. All right. So that's it for the jig. It's a big long video about a stupid jig, but the jig does help. It has a purpose. And I will make other videos about the rest of the construction of these vents. Sorry about the awesome video quality, guys, but hopefully I get better as I go.